Ustilago maydis is a fungus, also known as corn smut. Anatomically, you can see that it creates these big galls on corn. On a microscopic level, it creates teleospores, which are released. They're winter resistant, and each of those galls can produce 25 billion spores. Those spores will then become haploid sporidia. They're cigar-shaped, and those then become dikaryotic filaments which go into the plant. Those anatomically are actually used as a model for human neurons. So Ustilago maydis is also known as huitlacoche. It's an indigenous food preparation. It comes from two Nahuatl words for black and excrement. It co-evolved alongside corn and also its ancestor teosinte. The phylogeny of Ustilago maydis is interesting in that it is not actually as related to the genera Ustilago as it is other genera such as Sporosorium and Anthracositis. It is sometimes referred to as Mycosarcoma maydis. This is a simplified diagram of its life cycle. Those teleospores that we talked about earlier are step one. They come from existing Ustilago maydis, and they then germinate in order to become those cigar-shaped haploid cells. And those haploid cells are saprobic, meaning they eat dissolved organic matter to become dikaryotic filaments, which then infiltrate the extracellular space of that corn plant. That's where these tumors are formed on the corn. So the metabolism of Ustilago maydis is interesting in that galactose is toxic to it, so it doesn't use the oxidoreductive pathway that other organisms use. It uses another shorter pathway that is mediated by different enzymes. It's those GAL enzymes below, which can then lead to two different products, either a new glucose or a new galactose. And if it's the glucose, it will either be used for glycolysis or glycogen synthesis based on the needs at the time. If it is the galactose, it will be used as a precursor for glycolization. So endohyphal bacteria, or EHB, are a specific type of bacteria that are symbiotes with fungi. They actually live inside of fungi, and they have benefits such as increasing the number of spores that it produces. Specifically, Klebsiella michiganensis has been found inside of Ustilago maydis, and there's evidence that they co-evolved because there are a lot of bacteria that don't contain this enzyme chitinase, and those are not found in fungi because they cannot penetrate the fungal cell wall. So here is a simplified diagram of that cell wall. The orange part is the chitin, and in the second part of the image, the bacteria is releasing chitinase, and that actually breaks through the chitin and allows the bacteria to enter the cell. And it's interesting that there's barely any trace that it will have entered, and essentially no damage to the fungus. So Ustilago maydis produces clusters of reproductive bodies, also called sori, which eventually rupture into those black masses. And it also secretes effectors that do a lot of the pathogenic work. They can disrupt signals, metabolism, and immunity of the host. And like we mentioned earlier, those filamentous growths are what actually infiltrate the plant host. So overall, Ustilago maydis does not cause a lot of crop loss compared to other fungi. It does actually become another food in and of itself, that huitlacoche. And besides infecting corn, it can infect grasses. But I think its most interesting usage is probably its usage in tacos and quesadillas.